Going to call to order. Today is Thursday, May 23rd, 2019, fiscal year 20, operating budget hearings of the Budget and Finance Committee and Metro Council. Before I introduce the department head, I want to make sure that just go over some housekeeping items for our budget hearings. I want to remind council members that members of the Budget and Finance Committee are recognized first. And as always, please be respectful of others' time and constraints during the hearing so that everyone may have an opportunity to ask their questions. If you can, limit your questions to the budget. That's what we're here for, as this is a budget hearing. And also, if we can refrain from comments and congratulations to the departments. Lastly, I want to remind council members that you always can speak with department heads in the coming days to continue discussions and seek follow-up information. In doing so, if you're communicating via email, just make sure that information is sent to myself and council staff so we can get that uploaded to the SharePoint. So when we go into our work session, we have the information that we need, and we can run it in a succinct and in order manner so we can continue it just an efficient budgetary process. With that, we have the Fairgrounds, the Board of Fair Commissioners before us. We have Director Laura Womack. Ms. Womack, I'll turn it over to you for your introductions, and then you can walk us through your budget, highlight anything that you feel is pertinent for the committee to know, and council members and the general public that's viewing. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. With me today is our Finance and Administrative Manager, Felicia Bowman. She's been with us since August after an extensive recruitment. We're thrilled to have her. And on my left is Mr. Scott Wallace, who is our events manager, also responsible for sales and marketing and all other duties as assigned. So part of our fantastic A-team. I want to thank you all for the opportunity to discuss our fiscal year 20 budget at the Fairgrounds, Nashville. As you know, we're full steam ahead with our construction project with our new exposition facilities. The commitment by Metro over the last several years to invest substantially in the Fairgrounds is already starting to pay off, with increased exposure and inquiries from event promoters. To date, we have confirmed 8 new events for fiscal year 20 with several others in the works. This will represent at least 30 new event days and new revenue, and these are events that we can only support in our new expo facilities. It's due to improved access, clear span, and 39-foot ceilings, which very much helps. Our flea market continues to thrive. It does start tomorrow, if you'd like to visit. And our flea market staff is working diligently to relocate vendors. We have over 800 booths registered to permanent vendors. We presented a new fee schedule to the Fair Board in the recent months. This will result in a reduced fee for some vendors, status quo for others, and a minor increase for some. Reason we did this is we have currently 18 different rental fees for our flea market, and we have standardized those down to 4. We have finalized terms with the Tennessee State Fair Association to host the 2019 State Fair in September. Fair Board has endorsed a reduction in rent of approximately $50,000 to assist the TSFA in reaching their budget goals. Additionally, we have agreed to split parking operations and revenue, which will give each party an additional source of revenue while reducing expense burden across the board. Our Legacy Expo and consumer events are overwhelmingly optimistic and excited about relocating to our new expo facilities. Our target relocation is on track for mid-August. We're gearing up today for a new dirt track event by World of Outlaws at the Speedway, scheduled for the next 2 weekends. In addition, we continue discussions with SMI Bristol as they seek a public-private partnership to invest in the Speedway. We've recently opened Fair Park and hosted our first Fairgrounds event there during the first weekend of May. Big Bounce America, which brought the world's largest bounce house to Nashville. The park has also been used for flea market parking as needed, and the dog park is wildly popular, as is the Greenway. We are working with the MLS team leadership and the mixed-use developers to coordinate schedules and construction logistics. Demolition of the existing structures will not occur until after the 2019 State Fair. Our fiscal year 20 budget is break even. Because we will be moving into our new facilities in the coming months, we were forced to make some assumptions with our expenses due to lack of historical information. For instance, utility costs are expected to decrease in most categories. With more efficient mechanical and lighting systems, we anticipate a reduction in electricity. On the other hand, we expect an increase in water usage based on our recent year's billings and the addition of irrigation for both Fair Park and the grassy courtyard area adjacent to the new expo buildings. The cost of purchased services for maintenance are expected to decrease again due to new equipment. We have reduced our technology costs by just under $50,000 while expanding Wi-Fi service once we relocate. And since they are here, I want to thank ITS. They have been very instrumental in reducing that cost and expanding services to our customers. Our revenue budget has been confidently increased compared to the past 2 years. Revenue increases are expected in concessions, building rentals, parking, flea market, and rent payments for mixed use are expected to kick in. As always, we strive to achieve, maintain, and add to a significant fund balance so that we can guarantee a self-sustaining future and one that allows us to continue to invest in these new facilities that we have been entrusted with and grow with our partners and within our community. We realize we are starting from scratch in this regard, but are confident with the investment that Metro has made in the fairgrounds, we will succeed at reaching that goal. Thank you.
Okay, we have Councilman Roden. You get the gold star. You pressed your button first today. Vice Chair Roden.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate that. My question is it might be complicated, it might be very simple. I wanted to know, I've seen there's been at least 3 or 4 stories about the NASCAR issue in the track, parking issues. I know there's a bill filed here. Could you just give us an update on where we are with negotiations with NASCAR and kind of where we are going forward? If there's anything we're doing that would keep us from getting NASCAR out there, would you let us know and just give me an update? I appreciate it.
Sure will. So at the last Fair Board meeting in May, Bristol was invited in to give a presentation to the board, which they did. And their ask of the Fair Board was to appoint a representative along with myself to continue and advance discussions with them. And so the board did that. They nominated and appointed Commissioner Jason Bergeron, and we've got our first meeting is being finalized for next week.
And so right now, nothing is standing in the way other than just trying to negotiate and work something out. Is that correct?
Absolutely. We're at the beginning of these conversations. Needless to say, with everything going on, we've got to go have discussions about footprint. Certainly there's financing concerns, which SMI brought up at the Fair Board meeting, and just some logistics and timing, of course, that need to be worked out. But we're confident and certainly willing to get all the necessary people at the table to have good faith discussions on how that can happen.
Have they indicated the number of races they would like to bring in or the size of races they'd like to bring in?
They have, and they have indicated that there wouldn't be a net gain in races, and they've also committed to retaining local racing, which was very important.
Thank you, Vice Chair Roden. Councilman Pulley, you also get a gold star. You're the second person to hit your button on this thing that you guys are doing. So
well,
the mama and me, both of you get gold stars today, okay?
I wish you hadn't have done that, because I was thanking you for shutting him up by giving him that gold star right out of the gate. You really made my life a whole lot nicer. And to boot, he stole my question. So, but expanding on that question from Mr. Gold Star over here, and also I want to acknowledge that listening to what you were saying up there in your report to us, it's quite clear, and I go by the fairgrounds fairly regularly on my tours. It's quite clear that you have an awful lot going on, and I appreciate all the things that you're doing. I've enjoyed seeing some of the stuff. I've enjoyed the dog park as well, and I look forward to things transforming out there. With respect to NASCAR, though, we talked the other day, and it is in its infancy, so I'm not going to ask any specific questions, but as a follow-up to Councilman Roten, do you have any particular timeline where we will be hearing from you on the numbers and how fiscally this will impact moving forward?
I don't have specific timing. However, I think everyone realizes that as each day advances, considering we are full steam ahead on our construction, the harder it is to change. So there is an urgency to these discussions, and that is recognized across the board.
I have nothing further. Thank you for your answers, and thank you for all you're doing out there. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilman Pulley. Councilman Swope.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to publicly go on record stating, Director Womack, you have done an amazing job at navigating the waters for not only the new buildings, but the dog park, which is spectacular, Fair Park, and the negotiations that are currently going on, both with NASCAR and still existing with MLS Stadium and the mixed-use developments. I don't know where this city would be without your leadership and your team at the Fairgrounds. Kudos to all of you.
Thank you so much. I will thank you very much. My team is so amazing, and I want to thank them because they're able to handle the day-to-day, which frees me up to do these, larger vision projects. So it's because of them that I can do what I do. So thank you so much.
Councilwoman Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Director, I apologize if this was addressed. I've arrived about 10 minutes tardy, but I was wondering if you could share with us, just from an administrative perspective and a managerial perspective, the capital improvements or associated capital improvements that this council supported in the midst of the conversations about MLS and the various bills and the 10-acre giveaway and those various pieces. There was associated capital improvement dollars that I think this council understood might address some of the ingress, egress issues that maybe had not been not necessarily contemplated, but not really engineered how we were going to do that. There was an underpass, a potentially new intersection, work with TDOT out on some other roads. Can you help me understand how, if it is kind of operationally your staff, who is prioritizing and making the decisions around the associated capital improvements that happen kind of in the public right-of-way, but sort of on your, I think when you've got that that lower place where it kind of engages the public right-of-way kind of off-site, y'all's boundaries have been a little, they're challenging for the public and the community to kind of understand. Where's the fairground stop? Where's the public right-of-way begin? And so I think this council advanced some capital improvements, but what I had said at the time is there was no list or prioritization of what that should be, if it should be an intersection, if it should be this or that. And so who is determining that? And is that Metro or is that your team? And how is that being prioritized? And how are we being objective about determining if those are indeed worthwhile public investments?
Great question. We have 8 phases to our project at the fairgrounds, starting from the first phase of Fair Park all the way through the mixed use. So the projects that you're talking about is the $25 million that was appropriated for infrastructure. So where we are in that process, we've had to do certainly some conceptual designs, because as we move forward on our expo, they're very much tied. So we've certainly kept the infrastructure in mind, although it is lagging behind on a timeline to the expo projects. We have just completed a procurement of the infrastructure design team, and that's been awarded. So we're going to be proceeding with the selected firm, getting a contract executed. So In the first stage, that initial prioritization, that project's going to be managed by Director Faulkneson out of the Sports Authority. However, the Fairgrounds is represented on the team that's part of that effort, as well as our project managers, Gobble Hayes, who not only is working and helping the Fairgrounds execute our Expo project, but helping the Sports Authority and Metro in the work with infrastructure and the MLS Stadium. So we are prioritizing that together as a group, and the three pieces that we are concerning ourselves with first are the extension of Wedgewood from Rains as it comes into the property. That will continue straight on to Craighead and will include a bridge over Browns Creek. Number two is the extension of Benton. What that will do is ease the grade so that it becomes an accessible roadway and hook into the Wedgewood extension as well as Bransford and provide a secondary vehicle and pedestrian plaza. And then the third is Windgrove from Rains to Nolensville Pike. There will be additional infrastructure, of course, including lots and service roads, but those roads right now are really important to us. We'll have temporary entrances and temporary roads until those are complete, but I would think it's fair to say that that's probably a good 2 years out before that infrastructure piece is completed.
Okay, and I guess I would like to understand as far as, I mean, is your office managing, I understand it's a collective team effort, Ms. Folk-Knotson with the Sports Authority, Mr. Gobble, yourself and others, and I assume the various project managers, whether MLS or otherwise, who is accounting for that? What's the transparency in that decision-making? I think the community wants to be able to see. I was just concerned at the way in which that infrastructure package was advanced. It was contemplated or spoken of more of like what is happening on your exterior streets, your intersections, and so forth. And I know that that is, again, as we discussed, a little muddied around the edges and so forth. But I think I appreciate that it's a collaborative decision and that people are kind of prioritizing that. But again, because those are public infrastructure dollars, how does the community see how you're prioritizing that and what it's costing and so forth?
Well, I know
as you spend down the 25.
I can tell you how we, for the 25 million that we're, working with our initial investment for the Expo Center, what happens with our board meetings, I can't speak for the Sports Authority, of course, but we have very thorough budget documents and updates to our fair board once a month that goes through every single piece of the capital project, whether it be remainder of Fair Park, the old demo from 2017, all the way up through current invoices with the Expo Center. My understanding is that they do similar updates to the Sports Authority on a monthly basis. So that is certainly a very transparent way that the Fair Board shares with the community what we're spending and what we're spending it on and where we are in the process.
And could somebody, I guess that's what I want to understand from just a staffing perspective and a project management perspective. Can somebody, if they want to see how much capital spending, public spending is like, how do you track that particular fund? So I appreciate that the Sports Authority is transparent about what it's doing and that you all are as well, but I'm speaking, I recognize there's somewhat of a combination of stuff and it's all getting mixed together. But I think that's sometimes where the community concern comes, right? That we recognize all this stuff is interrelated, but I think there's some people who feel like, the public is paying for some things that, maybe other partners should be paying for. I'm just wondering who is tracking transparently the spend down on all these various funds that are affiliated or associated. Like if I wanted to go see the 25 and approved debt and how that's been spent and prioritized and by whom and for what, where would I go to see that?
I have that information.
Okay, can you send that to me, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Allen.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all being here. And Laura, I just want to thank you for all the times you have patiently answered my many questions, which I then passed on to constituents who are often working off of incorrect information. So it's just been helpful to be able to quickly get the real facts on what's going on there. And was wondering that great report that you gave, is that something we could get as well on the SharePoint or whatever? I would love to have all that data and facts.
Yes, absolutely.
In my hands, that'd be awesome.
I'll clean it up.
Okay.
Yes, I'm happy to send it.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Director Lomax, send that to Mr. Jameson so the council staff can get it up on the SharePoint. Thank you so much for Councilman Glover.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry I was running late. Traffic was a little bit heavy out there. And if you've already answered this question, I apologize. And Chair, I will let you say, all right, yeah, it's handled, and you can tell me offline. I filed a bill asking us to, give space in between the racetrack and where things will be built. I don't know. I'm assuming you've probably seen it. Are we still able to have those conversations? Because it's my opinion, it is public safety. We can debate it any way we want to, but I mean, as I've researched it with NFL, NHL, I mean, every professional sport. So was the question, or is the question. If that question was asked specifically, then Madam Chair, I'll let you give me the answer offline. If it wasn't.
The Vice Chair, he hinted on the parking, but you can go ahead.
Parking and buildings both. What I want to know, because I think there's some confusion that people think I'm trying to hinder out there. This body voted. I mean, we said, here we go. And so I'm not trying to hinder that.
And I want to interject too. The money has already been authorized.
Yeah. So I don't want anybody thinking it's a hindrance there, but the safety issue I do believe is important. And from the money standpoint, Madam Chair, is if we inadvertently shut something down out there that is a revenue generator that should not have been shut down, then there is obviously financial impacts that can occur. So the real question, are we open? Are we talking? And are we going to continue talking about how we make sure we keep everybody safe out there at that facility?
Yes. I mentioned before that we have engaged SMI, and we're finalizing a meeting already for next week, along with the Fair Board representative, Commissioner Bergeron. So yes, the answer to your question is resoundingly yes.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. I apologize for being late.
Not a problem. Thank you so much, Director Womack, and to everyone out at the Fairgrounds and everything that you do for the city. This concludes your budget hearing. If we can have the farmers market come down.